We wanted to talk more about Saints undrafted free agent Mason Tipton.
Yes, he seems to be the hottest player of the week among the guys who are not obvious starters for their teams. Player name kind of out of nowhere. He did well in OTAs, but I did not hear when I was talking with people who were observing the Saints OTAs, there wasn't a whole lot of fervor about him. But in training camp, he's really, I'll say, taken it to another level in that everybody's talking about how good he's looking. He's racing up. He's gone from absolutely nowhere to now being a, drawing heat for Dynasty or fantasy leagues. He's on the board now. But I scouted him coming out of Yale. He played in the Ivy League, scouted him out of Yale, had a nice career there. Final season, like 50 catches, 700 plus yards, 10 touchdowns. They play a 10-game season, so that's not a bad pace. Good touchdown pace. It's Yale. It's the Ivy League. It's hard to tell how it's going to translate to the pro game, plus he's weaker quarterback play. But what I saw with him at Yale is you could see he's fast. At his pro day, he was a 4.3 runner at his pro day, which is nice, but also suspect when it happens at a pro day. I did not see. I went back and looked at his tape a little bit more since he's become a hot player, hot name of the week for Dynasty Fantasy, and I don't see 4.3s. His game wasn't, hey, dump me. I'm the Tyreek Hill of the Ivy League. He ended up being a second team Ivy League, so it's not like he was the player of the year and blew everybody away. He was just really good. Smaller, slottish type wide receiver, if you were to look at him, but he's really more of a deep ball guy. He made his bones at Yale, kind of burning defenders deep more than he was a bubble screen or incredible route runner that was playing pitch and catch with his quarterback. It was usually him just faster than the Ivy League guys, getting deep. And he had some wide open touchdowns because he beat defenders pretty good. But when defenders were stuck with him, he would make great contested catches. That was probably the most impressive thing that I saw. I was expecting to be blown away with his speed when he ran a 4.3s at his pro day, but it was really his ability to catch the ball, underthrown passes by the Yale quarterback, totally covered, kind of going up over the top of people. And he's only 5'10", so doing that is fairly impressive. He has skills. He can catch the ball. He's obviously got NFL speed. I think it's more 4.4s than 4.3, but he can play. I'm surprised he's come on so fast, especially when in the Saints group, there's a lot of talented wide receivers there, especially off the non-starters. Like they drafted Bub Means out of Pittsburgh, who's a really good wide receiver, who's ahead of him on the depth chart for whatever that is worth. That may change quickly here. But an A.T. Perry, who's a starter, is not getting a lot of buzz. Bub Means is not getting, they're getting respect. Everybody's seeing they're good. Tipton's the first one where they're coming out and going, wow, this guy is something. I don't know if it's more they weren't expecting this, so he's surprising them, so it's that kind of a surprise, or if he's just really torching everybody. I think this is more of he's just surprising everybody, and you need something to talk about from Saints camp besides what position Taysom Hill's going to play. So it seems to be that Mason Tipton has caught the hearts and minds of the beat writers in New Orleans.
So first thing that comes to mind, RC, it feels like the Saints, whatever they're doing wide receiver wise, like just drafting this young talent, they seem to have a pretty good beat on it between A.T. Perry. They obviously got Shaheed a couple years ago, and now they bring in this dude. So for me, first question I'm going to ask you, are you confident that this guy could make the 53-man roster?
I think he's probably more in than out. before coming out of OTAs, he was probably more out than in. I want to see what he's looking like in the preseason to see how sharp his routes are. I know he can catch. I know he can move pretty quick, but even in the Ivy League, they were able to cover him pretty well. He put some moves on some people and they'd fall for it, and then he'd sprint open deep. But there was a lot of times he was just covered, and then he'd make a great catch in traffic or jump up high point contested catch. So I think he's probably worked his way onto the team. But when you start looking at an outlook of what's he going to be for fantasy dynasty, I can't imagine he's going to be anything this year, even if he makes the team. Potentially they try to stash him on the practice squad, but there's too many guys in front of him for him to have any probably real impact in 2024. Plus, he has an Ivy League background. He needs more time. He needs more time to ripen. I don't think he's a guy that's just going to step in and blow everybody away. I'll watch him in the preseason to see if I'm wrong about that and he's just hidden and ready to go. But I don't think there's much here for 2024 unless there's a rash of injuries. For the future, he's considered an outside receiver, not a slot receiver. So he's going to have to get past Olave. He's going to have to get past A.T. Perry, probably get past above means. It's going to be hard for him to do that. I think he's a good piece of the puzzle right now. Got himself probably making the roster more than not at the moment, but I don't know that there's a raging star getting ready to emerge here. Rashid Shaheed, undrafted free agent, star potential when you saw it right away. I'm a big A.T. Perry fan. I really like Bub Means. So they've got a lot of talent there, whether Tipton makes the team or not to compete with it. If he makes the team, if he's still with the team in 2025, he's got a lot of guys in front of him he's going to have to get by.
It's really cool seeing the Saints grab, like, I'm a Falcons fan, so I don't like that they're grabbing all these late round guys, but it's kind of cool to see them collect all these like lesser known under the radar players, and it seems like it's really coming together. So we'll keep tabs on Tipton during the preseason. I'm excited to see what he does, but for now it seems like a hold. Keep watching, need more data, and see where it goes.
Yeah, when we may run back, I'm sure there's going to be questions about it as the preseason goes along. So next video discussion about football things about tip could be, hey, wait, this is the superstar green light is on, but I think he's just going to be solid, handy, but not likely to have a breakthrough this year, maybe not even a breakthrough into the future. But it's not off the table yet.